All right, Shalom. First off, give all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bashem Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect. All the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and sincerity, and the women and children who follow. So, I was just reading in Genesis, and I just wanted to do a comparison to, back then and right now. And the person I want to center or focus in on is Joseph, because our forefather Joseph, he was taken, into Egypt as a slave, just as we were, taken here in America as slaves, and he had to conform to Egyptian society once he got his freedom or whatnot, and he got his status in the kingdom or whatnot. He had to, for lack of a better term, when in Rome, do as the Romans. He couldn't keep the law to his full abilities. Just like, us here in America, we can't keep the law to our full abilities. But of course, we strive for perfection, and, we do our best. So what I wanted to do, I just wanted to get this Genesis 40. Genesis 41, starting at verse 14. It says, "Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon." Because remember, he was in the dungeon for matter of fact, let me go ahead. I'm gonna get that first. We'll start at Genesis 39, and I'll start at verse 7. It says, "And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, 'Lie with me.' But he refused, and said unto his master's wife, 'Behold, my master is what is with me in the house, and he hath committed all he hath to my hand. There is none greater in his house than I, neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against the Most High?'" So he called, the act of adultery sin and great wickedness. Now, the law wasn't formally written down until when? Until Moses. Okay, but that was, hundreds of years, after this account. So that proves right there that, the law was oral back then. Not only that, of course, you had the situation with Cain and Abel, because Cain sacrificed fruit, knowing that, that wasn't what it should be sacrificed. He didn't do a meat offering like Abel did. Okay, because why? Because that's in the law, the law of sacrifice or whatnot. So, this is another factor proving that, the law was oral back then. We still kept the law, statutes, and commandments before Moses, went up the mountain. But because of this, he got put in a dungeon because he didn't lie with her. So we're gonna fast forward to when he's coming out of the dungeon. It says, Genesis 41-14. "Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon." It says, "And he shaved himself and changed his raiment and came unto Pharaoh." Now we know that you're not supposed to shave. That's against the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, and we just proved that, the law was back then. Why is it that Joseph shaved himself, but the Most High was still with him? Because the Most High understands that, the situation that he was in, he had to present himself in front of Pharaoh and look right. He's coming out the dungeon. He was in the dungeon for, I believe, a couple years. If, let me see if it gives the time. This is the dream. No, it doesn't say how long. It just says that he recalled. But Yep. Matter of fact, yeah, it's Genesis 41. It came to pass at the end of 2 full years. So he was in the dungeon 2 years. Okay, so you can imagine, you know, um, what he smelled like. Because I'm pretty sure he wasn't given regular baths in the dungeon, even though he was over everybody. He still wasn't given. He wasn't out on the outside. He wasn't able to keep himself. That's why it says, they brought him hastily to him, and he shaved himself and he gave him change of raiment. Okay, so he had to present himself in front of Pharaoh, so he made sure that he looked right. That's the same as if we go into a job interview or whatnot. We make sure that we have, the proper clothes on, proper shoes on. You're not going to go in, like we said on the highways just this past weekend. You're not going to go to a job interview in basketball shorts and a tank top. Okay, you're going to put some slacks on, maybe a button up or a polo or whatnot, some decent shoes. You're not going to be in there, in some flip flops. But that's, excuse me, that's the same thing that Joseph went through. It says, and he shaved himself. The Most High knows that we can't keep the law, statutes, and commandments here to fully. The Most High knows that we don't have money enough to keep a woman in a separate household when she's on her monthly. So on and so forth. Some brothers, have to shave for their job. Now ultimately they can try to get a new job, but we in a failing economy, so the job market isn't as fruitful as it once was. So, like I said, man, the Most High knows what we go through. The Most High know the range. He know what your real intentions are. Whether you shaving just to look good, for these women out here, or for peace of mind in your head or whatever, or if your back's against the wall and that's what you had to do. But ultimately, the point of this lesson is that Joseph did what he had to do to overcome in that situation. Okay, and the Lord was with him, even though he couldn't keep the law to the 100%. The Lord was still with him, and that's how we are in this place. The Lord knows that we can't keep the law to our 100%, but He's still with His righteous. Okay, He's still with His elect. All right, and that's never gonna change. Okay, so that's pretty much all I wanted to get, right there. I hope you brothers was, edified with, the breakdown or whatnot, and, just the comparison in general. With that being said, stay steadfast. Even though we can't keep the law to our best ability, keep the law, or it's like, even though we can't keep the law 100%, keep the law to your best ability, okay? Because there are certain things that we can do. If you don't have to, shave your beard, don't shave it. The dietary law, keep it. Don't smoke, don't steal. The 10 Commandments. It's not hard to. It says that his laws are not grievous. Okay, it's not hard to do this. Okay, be that prudent man that look well to his goings. Okay, that's what it's about, man. Put off that old man and become that new man. Okay, and like I said, Joseph was the man. He was the man over the heathen in Egypt, and he was the man out of all his brothers. Okay, and with that being said, call law. That's all praise to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Rukar Kadash, Bashem Rukar Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect. All the brothers across the four corners who are enduring in truth and sincerity, and the women and children who follow. Shalom.